Here is a synopsis of James Clear's book, The 1% Method, Atomic Habits, Tiny Changes, Remarkable Results. Key point 1. Just as money multiplies through compound interest, so do good habits yield results that multiply rapidly. Habits, whether positive or negative, build up. Productivity, knowledge, and interpersonal relationships are examples of a beneficial correlation. Stress, negative thinking, and enthusiasm are all instances when negative buildup takes place. Your productivity is one of the many things you may use this link for. Even while finishing an extra task on any given day might not seem like much, it matters if you apply it to your career. Automating certain processes frees up your brain to focus on more crucial duties. You can leverage your capacity to expand your knowledge by engaging in lifelong learning. This accumulation can be trained in a variety of ways. Reading opens your mind to new ideas and challenges your way of thinking, because individuals are inclined to assist those who have shown them kindness. Developing compassion adds compound interest to your relationships. Negative things also have a way of building up. At first, minor stresses might appear isolated, but they can eventually lead to major health issues. Common reasons of worry include parenting, traffic jams, slightly raised blood pressure, and so forth. More serious issues follow from this stress. Negative ideas might also build up. A bad reality is created for you by the accumulation of thoughts that do not enhance your existence. Be mindful of your thoughts regarding other people and yourself. Anger is no different. Protests and civic upheaval frequently involve a mix of microaggressions, but most of the time, we assign blame to a single incident as though it were unique. Small adjustments don't seem like much until they hit a threshold or tipping point. The plateau of dormant potential is the name given to this threshold. You must be patient if you want the desired outcomes. Fascinating information. According to James Clear, you will be 37 times better or worse off at the end of the year if you make a 1% progress or degradation every day. Key point. It takes a lot of effort to break a negative habit. Establishing positive habits is challenging, and breaking negative ones may be even more so. But the following method makes it possible. Spend some time developing an efficient framework that will enable you to make progress toward your objective rather than concentrating on the seemingly distant result. Systems teach you how to get there, whereas goals show you where you want to go. Goals can be set by anyone, but those that succeed have already devised a solid plan to reach their objectives. The system of constant small improvements that winners use to accomplish their objective is what sets them apart from losers. James's objectives are fleeting. Everybody expects results, but when this mindset prevails, issues frequently reappear. Developing a suitable process and automating procedures results in long-lasting transformation. Usually, the thrill of accomplishing a goal is fleeting. Goal-oriented people also have a tendency to put off happiness. You can take pleasure in each step that gets you closer to your objective if you have a systems-oriented mindset. You want to do things again when you find them enjoyable. You can abandon the rigid strategy you wish to use to accomplish your objectives by adopting a systems-oriented perspective. Sometimes the path to success requires a detour. A well-designed system swiftly adjusts to changing circumstances while maintaining focus on the objective. The design of sustainable processes is frequently impeded by goals. When nothing helps you farther than reaching your objective, old behaviors resurface. For instance, there are several methods to reach your goal of losing 20 pounds. However, after you hit the kg limit, you might revert to your previous behaviors, falling behind as you still haven't come up with a plan to manage your weight. You play to become a champion, not to win every game. True champions are the result of atomic habits. Atomic habits form completely functional systems, much like atoms come together to form molecules. Key point 3. Because it is what makes the change sustainable, your personal change is more significant than concentrating on the objective. We struggle with habit change for two reasons. On the one hand, we are attempting to make the wrong adjustment, and on the other, we are going about it incorrectly. The three levels are identification, procedure, and result. Processes are steps to put the change into action, whereas results are the outcome of the change. Identity is based on your beliefs. The direction of change is the issue that comes up while creating long-lasting habits. Instead of concentrating on your success, you should work on improving your character. Modifying behavior must come after changing beliefs. What you do is not as essential as who you are. A habit is more likely to be maintained once it becomes ingrained in your personality. Think about your ideal self for a while. Then consider what you must do to develop into that person. Frequently, the conduct is an outward expression of identity or a response. When you follow the rules you were raised with without challenging them, you are said to be in cognitive twilight. When you realize the patterns you follow in your life, you will alter. Your experiences have led you to believe that math isn't for you, and as a result, you're only mediocre at it. Your grades over time support the notion that you struggle with arithmetic. You build a new reality when you alter your perspective or beliefs about mathematics. In the end, you're mediocre, but not awful. Your life experiences shape your beliefs. You don't have much control over your values when you're young and in your teens. It is determined by your surroundings, which include your parents, school, friends, and the media you are exposed to on a daily basis. When it offers useful and perceptive viewpoints, this effect can be constructive. When it adversely impacts your outlook and overall disposition, it can be detrimental. You can deliberately destroy these beliefs as an adult and preserve the ones that are beneficial to you. You can positively alter who you are with the aid of your activities. Key point 4. The idea of the habit loop and identity-dependent habits. Identity and habits have an impact on one another. They both go both ways. You must, however, put more emphasis on who you are than on how your ambitions turn out. Your convictions will be reflected in your results when you prioritize your values. The ability of habits to alter your self-perception is their greatest advantage. Make a habit a part of your routine if it makes you feel good. You'll probably refrain from repeating the practice, though, if it upsets you and its consequences. Habits are automated by the brain because they fulfill its needs. They advocate energy conservation. Mental shortcuts acquired via experience are called habits. Brain activity declines with the formation of habits. You learn to disregard everything else and only pay attention to the promising triggers. James, you free up mental space for yourself by automating the things that are most important in life. When you give yourself permission to think, you become creative. You can develop plans and ideas with greater depth and breadth if you have room for fresh ideas. Key point 5. Trigger, desire, response, and reward are the 4 steps that make up every habit, according to the habit loop. Anything that compels the brain to initiate a behavior is called a stimulus. You need this behavior once it's activated. Your sentiments will be messed up if you don't fulfill this urge. Responding to needs results in rewards. When you get that reward, you repeat what you did, which starts a habit loop. Every habit has an objective, which is symbolized by its reward. The reward you desire is shown to you via the trigger stimulus. You are making the effort to obtain it by answering it. Double satisfaction and emptiness are characteristics of rewards. All four stages of behavior formation, stimulus, desire, reaction, and reward, must occur. The phases are separated into two groups. The problem phase, which includes desire and trigger stimuli, and the solution phase, which includes reward and reaction. These four behavior change concepts might help you make it clear that you want to develop positive behaviors. Make it look good. Simply do it. Make it fulfilling. Eliminating negative habits is another benefit of reversing these ideas. Make it disappear. Make it look ugly. Make it challenging. Make it disappointing. The sixth key aspect is to become conscious of your behaviors, because perception is where behavior change starts. Your brain learns to recognize habits with ease via practice. The number of tasks that our brains have already automated is surprising to many of us. The brain sends automatic messages to the appropriate body parts for things like breathing, digestion, blood flow, hair development, and so forth. Your conscious self is only one aspect of who you are. You don't need to be aware of what you're doing, since you can teach your brain to automate positive habits. Eventually, your brain learns to automate the habit, and the trigger input is no longer needed. You do something without even realizing it when it becomes a habit. The first step in changing behavior is raising awareness. Let's say you are learning how to drive. When you first start, you are conscious of every detail and find it challenging to multitask. However, driving becomes instinctive with practice, and you can carry out several commands simultaneously. The Japanese railway system employs a technique called shisakanko, which translates to show and name in German to reduce mistakes and prevent mishaps. The crew shouts instructions and points to stuff. They give each object a name and specify its proper course of action. By bringing previously unconscious things to light, this seemingly insignificant activity lowers danger. The habit tracker is another crucial stage in changing behavior. The habits you follow on a daily basis are listed in this tracker, regardless of how excellent, neutral, or horrible it is. Good habits are represented by a plus sign, negative habits by a minus sign, and neutral habits by a plus sign. When the sum of your habits is positive, you have positive tendencies. A pattern that is negative is indicated by a negative value. First, commit to changing your habits for a while. Before choosing a course of action, think about the effects of your choices and take lessons from them. Up to 85% fewer mistakes and 30% fewer mishaps are made when using the show and name method. The seventh key point: habit stacking and implementation intention are effective strategies for creating and sustaining desired habits. A strategy that asks you to define the time and place of the activity you wish to carry out is known as an implementation intention. The equation is straightforward. I will act in behavior A at time B in location C. The two most frequent triggers for your behavior are time and location. However, there are many more. Both of these hints are used in the implementation intent. Combining routines is encouraged by the habit stacking technique. You can read the news and have coffee in the morning. Combining a new habit with an existing one makes it easier to acquire. A wide series of behavioral patterns may start to appear after you have mastered the fundamentals of habit stacking. Because your current routines will provide you the comfort you need while you accomplish them with minor alterations, you won't feel overwhelmed by doing something entirely different and reorienting yourself from begin. The fundamental trigger that initiates the chain determines how successful routine stacking is. Time and location are irrelevant when using this technique because they are already incorporated into the current pattern. The first behavior change concept can be applied successfully with these tactics. Clear triggers are produced, and when applied appropriately, they facilitate the elicitation of novel behavior. Your surroundings frequently influence you to make choices that compromise who you are. The environment has the almost imperceptible power to shape your behavior. According to Kurt Lewin, conduct is a function that an individual would carry out in light of their surroundings. You should be conscious of this and understand when to resist the temptations that the outer world presents to you. For instance, you should be aware of when you feel the temptation to smoke if you wish to stop, and your buddies smoke frequently. Hawkins Stern, an economist, found that the same idea applied to advertising some 20 years later. Stern discovered that consumers may grow dependent on a product after seeing it for the first time. He referred to this occurrence as an impulse purchase stimulus. Key point 8. All living things have unique perspectives on the world and enjoy immediate gratification. The sensory nerve system is the main way that humans perceive the world. Vision makes up the largest portion of the 11 million receptors, 10 million. The good news is that you can design an atmosphere that allows you to view the things you desire. When combined with the appropriate visual cues, a habit can be captivating. Additionally, you can encourage positive habits by employing tactics that encourage negative ones. If there are several triggers in your surroundings, you are more likely to develop a habit. Researchers have shown that individuals with strong self-control plan their life to steer clear of situations that cause them to lose control. Modify your surroundings to get the outcomes you desire in life. Self-control is effective when you find yourself in a precarious circumstance out of the blue. It will only be a matter of time until you give in to temptation if you must muster the will to do so each day. Make the most of your surroundings to preserve your willpower until you need it most. The internet is included in this as well. We want to do things that make us happy again. The human brain enjoys instant gratification. If you wish to break a habit, a responsible friend or partner can help you enforce the punishment. People frequently try to get other people's approval. We wish to keep up our social ties because of this. When the new habit is in line with your values and doesn't require you to do something you don't feel comfortable doing, it's easier to make progress. Because we frequently lose interest in routine and dull work, this challenge is crucial. When you conquer a challenge, you feel satisfied, your perspective is strengthened, and you become more aware of errors that a routine might miss. For example, a person who has learned to drive eventually finds it hard to see how he can get better at it. However, you can continuously strive to cultivate a feeling of awareness that warns you of potential weak places by using conscious purpose. Sensitivity can be attained through deliberate behavior and habits. Key point 9. The brain reacts instantly to chances that seem appealing. The precise moment a craving arises is shown by the shift in dopamine levels. The development of habits depends on dopamine. Due to their strong dopamine release, most intoxicants are hard to stop using. Dopamine is also released during routine actions, including eating, drinking water, and having sex. The brain reacts more strongly to the promise of a reward than to the actual reward. This is the exact emotion that every action arouses. It's more appealing when you combine your favorite activity with appropriate conduct. We call this procedure temptation bundling. The Premack principle, which holds that more likely activities might induce less likely behaviors, is applied in temptation bundling. Our preferred behaviors are determined by our cultural context. We naturally adopt actions that are praised by the group because we feel a need to fit in. These could be close friends or family members, people we look up to, or people from similar backgrounds. Individual conduct is frequently subordinated to group behavior. A person who doesn't bully others may become a bully themselves to fit in with their group if they have pals who bully others. You ought to understand the impact that other people's actions have on you. Be in the company of individuals who make you feel at ease and who won't pressure you into doing something that bothers you. When it comes to the establishment of habits, frequency is more significant than duration. Repeated application is preferable than thorough planning and execution if you want to form a habit. The third behavior change principle is simplicity. You should only do a small amount at a time if you do anything frequently. To make sure you keep developing a new habit, get rid of as many barriers as you can. Make sure you have enough time to complete it. Apply the 2-minute rule. It should take no more than 2 minutes to form each new habit. The amount of time should rise after you've perfected the habit. Take the opposing action. Make the habits you wish to break more challenging. You will eventually get rid of habit-forming triggers from your life if you restrict your access to them. When you make a commitment to improving by a 1% every day over time, habits change. These advancements add up to create an entire creature, much like atoms do. Therefore, concentrate on developing systems that let you stack these atoms. After achieving your objectives or benchmarks, you may make sure that you keep improving by maintaining your attention on the system. Something needs meaning before it can be used as a trigger. It is impossible to desire a stimulus if you are unaware of it. The secret to happiness is contentment with your existing circumstances. As soon as a new want emerges, happiness vanishes. The mental image of pleasure is what we yearn for. Desire is what motivates behavior. You will keep up the necessary habit if you want it. Our acts are motivated by our emotions. Feelings are stronger than rational justifications. When we act, our desire comes before our response. What we do is determined by our emotions. Actions are only evaluated after they have been completed. We will be reminded to repeat these behaviors later if our brain finds them enjoyable. Know what makes you happy. Fun activities. Make a habit tracker to determine whether you have a pattern of good or bad behavior. Decide which habit you wish to develop and which you wish to break. Give the habits the proper treatment. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video.